Okay. So, we need to start today's class with the savings plan problem, savings plan formula, and that's on this 5.3 or 4.3, whatever chapter we on, I think. It'll be the 25th. And that is right here. So this is a formula that basically tells you if you want to have a savings account worth so much money in 10 years, in 5 years, in 15 years, in 20 years, then this is what you need to make payments. You need to make payments toward that savings account or whatever, CD or whatever, and this is how you do it. So if you want to have $5,000 in the savings account at the end of 5 years, and you have a rate of so much, then this is what you do it. A is equal to your outcome, payment is your payment, percentage rate is percentage rate. Now, I would put R, 1 plus R over N to the NT power. And I would change, and I'm going to because I don't like it, change that to R, because you're not going to see it in a lot of maths. You're not going to see it as APR, you're going to see it as R. Now in the real world, it's called APR, I will say that. But in most of your mathematics courses, this APR is going to be called R. So, I would call that R, and that R, and change that Y to a T, because that's what it's usually called. So here is an example. It says use the savings plan to calculate the balance after 6 months for an APR of 12% and monthly payments of $100. Now notice it says 6 what?
Months.
6 months is a half of what?
Year.
So your T would be 0.5. So in this problem, we're going to have A is equal to 100 times 1 plus 0.12 over 12, because most of the time we're talking about 12 payments a year, right? We pay monthly. Does it say that in there? Monthly payments. And how many months are in a year? 12. To the NT power, to the N would be 12. T would be 1/2 or 0.5 minus 1 all over 0.12 over 12 I messed that up, so I'm just going to erase that. And it would be R. So we're going to do this in our calculator. And you might have to use your memory, or you might have to write it down. I don't know what you want to do, but that's fine. You do whichever. I'm going to use the memory in the calculator, the STO button. So, take our handy dandy calculator. And I'm going to take 0.12 divided by 12. And I'm going to add that to what? 1. And then I'm going to raise that to the what power?
6.
6th power. I'm going to minus 1. And I'm going to divide that by parentheses 0.12 divided by what?
12.
And then close parentheses. And there's that number right there. And then multiply that times 100. Don't really need to do it on a calculator, but go ahead. So at the end of 6 months, I'm going to have $615. And that's how you use that formula. We'll do a couple of these so you can get the hang of just punching in your calculator, because that's what you do. You remember in Shawshank Redemption?
Yes.
When the guard comes up to Dufresne and says, "I'd like to put away some money for my college kids' education." Well, that's what he's using right there. Because he's got to figure out how much tuition is at the college that he wants to go to. That's why he says Yale or Harvard. And then he goes through and says, okay, he's going to need at least $200,000 or $150,000 or whatever. And $150,000 is going to be in the A spot. And he figures, okay, how old is your kid? Your kid is 5 years old. So you've got how many years to get ready for college? 13. So he puts 13 in for T. He's going by the rate that is at the time, which is 3%, 4%, whatever. Puts in that. And then he solves for PMT, which is the payment that he has to put in. And that's what he has to do. So let's see what would happen if we did go that route. Let's say that your child is 6 years old, or let's say 6 years old. So that leaves us with n is equal to 12. Let's say that the percentage rate is 3%. Of course, they'll give you a little bit more. Let's say 12% like they did, which is a little bit high. But we'll say 9%. Let's just say 9%. Which is still a little bit high, because most savings accounts today are about 3%, 2% or 3%. Some of them are even less.
They're not that high.
Huh?
They're very-
0.
Very low, yeah.
CDs.
And 12 years, N, or not N, that's N is 12, T is 12. We're going to put it in for 12 years. N is monthly payments. And we want to have, let's say, 150,000. So A is equal to 150,000. Let's say that kid gets scholarships, so 150,000 will help him with whatever he needs. So we're gonna plug it in, but this time we don't have the payment, we have A, so that's gonna be 150,000 is equal to, and we're gonna punch in X times, and we're gonna do all of that over here. We're gonna do that right now. So I'm gonna put that in right here, and then we're gonna put it right there. So 1 plus, that would be 0.09 divided by 12 to the NT. Well, that's 12 times 12 is what? 144 minus 1 over 0.09 divided by 12. So we're going to do that in our calculator. So 0.09 0.09 divided by 12 plus 1 raised to the 144 power minus 1 is that number, divided by parentheses 0.09 divided by 12. I get that number. So 150,000, I hope y'all wrote it down. 150,000 is equal to X times $257.7. Now how do we get X by itself? Divide both sides by 257.7. So I'm going to take 150,000 divided by inverse answer equals. He needs to put in $600 a month for the next 12 years. 582.05. Now, like I said, the percentage rates were a whole lot different before 2008. And what happened in 2008?
Not market value.
Because of the banks and what the banks were doing. The banks were giving out credit like water. And, you know, you give yourself enough rope, what happens?
Hang yourself.
You're going to hang yourself. That's what the banks did. And when the banks did it, everything went.
Housing crash.
You cannot politically correct loaning money out. What are you talking about, Hubert? That's what the banks were doing. The banks were saying, we cannot be what? We cannot discriminate against people because they don't have a good job. That's basically what was happening. And they were giving credit to people that what?
Didn't have jobs.
Didn't have jobs and didn't have credit. And you can't do that because nothing is what?
Free.
Nothing is free. And that's how you use. Now, should you write this down with your compound interest formula as something very good to know in the real world? Yes. So you need to write that down. Now, the only thing I would do probably to make it a little bit easier is I would rewrite it, and I would take all of this and then multiply it by N over APR, and that way you don't have it, it's not as yucky this, take this, flip it up here. So just forget this right here. And multiply by N over R right here and put brackets around this like that. So you can make it a whole lot easier by saying A is equal to your payment times 1 plus APR or R, I don't like that APR, over N raised to the NT power minus 1 times N over R. You could do it like that, make it a whole lot less cumbersome by doing that. Payment times this times this. Very nice thing to have. At least you know how it works. So when somebody does give you financial advice, you know what kind of math they're using to figure out what that payment is to have $150,000 at the end of 12 years. On a test of 10 questions, there's 3 or 4 questions right there. And compound interest would be another 3 or 4. I want to get to the one that makes you sick. It's called amortization. And it is a booger. Because it'll make you sick. We'll get there eventually. I don't know why this computer, I guess this computer's fixing to crash because it won't do anything. Try it again. Oh, I hit the wrong button. Operator. Usually right after they give you the savings plan, they give you the, I'm going to throw up formula. We're going to talk about this, but I want to get to the other formula while you're in the formula. And this one is very similar, but it's very different. I'm about ready to give up.
Yeah, I'm looking for it too. But we're looking for what?
Amortization. It's called amortization.
Is it in this book?
It's in it. If it's not, I'm going to find it.
There it is.
What page?
4D.
What page?
Well, this book is.
It's not the same as yours.
Okay. Well, let's just get 4D then. Maybe it's in there.
Got one more on this. This next page.
Must have skipped it. That's why I can't see the whole page. It's kind of. There it is. There's our sickening formula. Of course, they don't call it the amortization because y'all are not smart enough to know what that, how to pronounce that.
Amortization.
It's called loan payment formula. They dummy this book dummies everything down for y'all. Because y'all ain't got sense. Read it. All right, the only thing that I would make different is that I don't like this negative n to the y or negative nt power. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put all this over 1 and then I'm going to what? Flip it. So I'm going to rewrite it as P times R over N over 1 minus, and I'm going to put all of this 1 plus R over N raised to the negative NT power over 1. And I'm going to flip this right here, and I'm going to make it P times R over N over 1 minus 1 over 1 plus R over N raised to the NT power. Now, you don't have to do this. I do it because I don't like dealing with that negative, because that's where you make a careless what? Mistake. So I'm going to use this right here.
What is that down at the bottom? Is that NT?
NT.
Okay.
NT. I just changed it to a positive by flipping this upside down. And my marker is not working too good today, so it's Bush's fault. There. NT power. Now, this is the formula that makes you, this is the formula that not many people know about. And when I show it to you, half the class goes, that's right, it's not right. Well, it is. It's called LIFE. And what's that? Life. Remember Theo, Bill Cosby, Theo wanted to move out?
I would never watch that.
Huh?
You never showed
Yeah,
it.
you're gonna pull it up and show
Okay,
it.
we'll watch it. We'll watch it. We'll do a problem here and then we'll watch it. All right, so let's find it. Let's make an example. I'd like to make an example. Let's go with you want to go out and buy a car. Of course, no, you won't buy a truck because you won't put smokestacks on it. So you buy a brand new, no, you can't afford a brand new one. You buy a used Dodge 4x4 dealer, okay? And I stole mine for like $7,000, so I'm going to say that you didn't. And yours is $12,000. So you take out a payment, you go to the bank and you get $12,000. And they say, okay, we're going to loan that money to you at anybody gotten a loan lately? I haven't gotten one. I stay away from loans. Anybody got
It's
one?
like
lately?
9%.
Okay, 9%. We're going to give you that money at 9% for 5 years, because 5 years is usually a standard. 3 to 5 years is usually standard on a car. Used, they usually drop it.
6 months.
They drop it down to 3. They drop a couple of years off if it's a used car. So we're going to say 5. 5 years. And of course, you make what kind of payments? Monthly payments. 12 payments a year. But we got to figure out what the payment's going to be. Okay? So you take this money right here, or take these values right here. I want you to plug it into either this one. If you want to use this one, that's fine. I'm going to use this one. And P is equal to what? What's P? Your principal. That's what? 12,000. And that's equal to R. That's equal to T. And that's equal to N. Y'all work on that right quick. And then we still got to put the extra large wheels and 15-foot lift kit and the 16-foot and the video cameras. I mean the video screens. Got to put them in. And let's see what else. The stereo system that costs $10,000 and you put it in a $12,000 truck.
Some neon.
Oh yeah, we got to put neon lights under the cab. I think this is it. Y'all allowed to stop for a second.
How'd you get good help with it? Son, another asked me to come up here and kill him.
Hey, I know.
You know what?
What you gonna say? I'm just under patrol. So, no.
No problem. How do you expect to get into college for doing nothing?
No problem. See, I'm not gonna go.
Damn right.
I'm gonna get through high school. And then get into job like regular people.
Regular people?
Yeah, you know, working at gas stations, traffic bus, something like that.
So what you're saying is your mother and I shouldn't care if you get B's because you don't need good grades to be regular people. Okay. Suppose you graduate from high school. Let's say you just slide by. All right. Now you got to find a job. Now, what kind of salary do you expect for a regular person?
$250 a week.
$250 a week?
Yeah.
Sit down.
I'm gonna have fun with this.
$300 a week. Yes, indeed. $300 a week, $1,200 a month. All right?
Great, I'll take it.
Yes, you will. And I will take $350 for taxes. Huh? Yeah. Now, because see, the government comes with regular people first.
Actually, we're gonna find out that
Now,
that's
now,
not true.
How much does that leave you with?
$850.
All right. Now, you've got to have an apartment because you are not going to live here. So, an apartment in Manhattan will run you at least $400 a month.
I'll live in New Jersey.
All right. You live in New Jersey, you've got to have a car.
I'm on a motorbike.
You need a helmet. Figure $100 a month for clothes and shoes.
Figure 200. I want to look good.
gas station attendant, looking
Okay,
good.
So what's that leave you with?
$200. So, no problem.
There is a problem. You haven't eaten yet.
I get by on bologna and cheese. So, I got everything I need, plus $200 left for the month.
You plan to have a girlfriend?
For sure.
What about electricity and water?
Yeah.
If he's living in an apartment, you have to pay for that.
Yeah,
Well, you do,
So it all depends on where you.
Yeah. Sometimes
So-
sometimes that's included with the monthly payment.
Yeah, some do include that, I agree. Well, there you go. Some of y'all maybe never
Do you remember when you
seen.
moved out, actually?
What?
I remember when you
That's a
moved
good, that's a good
out.
one there.
I'm sorry, what? I don't hear nothing about hearing
I said, I
this.
remember when you actually moved out. Do you remember that?
Yeah,
That or, yeah, what he was living in?
yeah.
Yeah, okay.
All right, so let's get back to our problem so we can really get, set. Where is my- Okay. I done lost all my, there we go. Okay, here we go. And pull up our handy dandy. There we go. All right, so we're gonna take 1 plus R over N, so R over N is gonna come out to be, let's do R over N first. R is 0.09, so 0.09 divided by 12 is equal to 0.0075. We're going to raise that to the NT power, which is 12 times 5, which is what? 60. Oh, wait a minute, we got to add that to 1, don't we? Yeah. Got to add that to 1 and raise that to the 60th power. And that'll give us that number. And then we got to take 1 divided by that number. And that'll give us that number. So this number right here is 0.638699. And then we got to subtract it from 1. And our denominator is 0.3613. So I'm going to put that in. I'm going to hit STO where you buy bread. And alpha denominator, D. Now let's do the jigger up here. So R over N is, R is 0.09 divided by 12 and multiply that by 12,000. And that's 90. So numerator is 90. So divided by alpha D is $249.10. So that's our payment. Monthly payment, $250. All right, we're just going to say $250. Is that okay with everybody?
That's good.
$250. So how many payments are there?
Well,
All right, everybody watch.
Follow that.
250 times